Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Lost Media Stranger Things Edition. Apparently, you guys love that video. So here's the sequel to this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Stranger Things is gonna end, and I know for a lot of people, it's an end of an era. It's been going on for 10 years, honestly. And the fact that it has such a strong fan base, and the fact that you guys also showed me such support and love just talking about certain things that didn't happen, it's incredible. So again, thank you guys so much for the previous video. Now for this video, there is less lost media. I actually had to get a couple of help from you guys under the comments below. So if you guys have any other sort of lost media or anything regarding this, put it in the comments below. I always check them. I always like it. Your guys' support means everything to me. So I'm always down there and seeing what my community is doing. But enough talking and stalling. It is time for the actual video. And here is even more Stranger Things, lost media, and unused ideas. When the Stranger Things collaboration happened in early 2022 for the Season 4 release, Ubisoft launched a special crossover event between Far Cry 6 and Netflix's Stranger Things called The Vanishing DLC. This collaboration coincided with a Far Cry 6 free weekend that ran from March 24 to 27 in 2022, during which players could download and play the full game along with all existing free DLC, including the Stranger Things mission, at no cost. The mission was presented as a free crossover, available on all platforms including PC, PlayStation, and the Xbox. Ubisoft was part of Far Cry 6's post-launch roadmap of free content that also included other crossover events. The Stranger Things mission, The Vanishing, took Far Cry 6 into a stealth horror survival-style experience inspired by the series' upside-down dimension. Players entered a twisted version of Yara that echoed the eerie atmosphere of Hawkins' alternate realm, with abandoned labs, hidden bunkers, and mysterious disappearances to investigate. Gameplay mixed Far Cry's standard gunplay and traversal, environmental tensions with the horror elements provided by the Stranger Things collaboration. But despite its popularity, the Stranger Things crossover is no longer accessible in Far Cry 6 due to licensing limitations tied to the Stranger Things intellectual property owned by Netflix. Players on forums have reported that the mission disappeared from games after updates because the licensing for the crossover expired. And this kind of removal is common when content uses external franchises. Studios typically secure rights for a set period, and once that period ends, the associated content must be taken out of the game. Ubisoft hasn't re-released the mission or extended the rights, meaning it can't be downloaded or replayed through normal game versions anymore. Some players who accessed it before the removal still have it in their libraries, but new players or those who update the game won't find it available in current builds. This limitation is rooted in legal and licensing agreements, so unless Netflix and the Stranger Things group basically allow Ubisoft to re-release the DLC, it's essentially lost media, and anyone else who wants to play the game, even if you buy Far Cry 6 and buy all the DLC packs or buy any extended version, will be unable to play this game. And this has happened for any other game that has like a collab or something integrated by another, licensing agreement being held from another group. So while this isn't technically lost media, as the build is still out there, those who haven't updated Far Cry 6 or who have it in their libraries are still able to play it, I will still consider it a part of lost media, mainly because it is extremely hard to get any information and any way for any normal person to play it either on PC or any other hardware. So I do consider it a piece of lost media, partially, but not fully. And for the next item and product, I don't even know if it even exists. So this is a little bit of an unknown lost media, but it is a very interesting thing because I've been seeing videos regarding this. So I just wanted to give you guys, shout out to Ecto Violence and Hunter Bolding video, where those guys are able to go more into detail regarding this situation. But I just wanted to, basically fluff up this video and talk more about this. So Stranger Things has had a complicated and increasingly frustrating history with physical media, beginning with a strong early release and gradually fading into uncertainty and obscurity. Seasons 1 and 2 have released official Blu-ray, DVD, and limited 4K releases. Many of them have been sold exclusively on Target that have leaned heavily into their retro VHS style nostalgia. And honestly, if given the chance, you could probably go to your local Target and buy Season 1, as Season 1 in particular was massively overproduced, making it very cheap and easy easy to find today. On the contrast for season 2, which was printed in a far smaller quantity, which is why it has become much rarer and significantly more expensive on resale markets like on eBay or Craigslist. After season 2, official physical media for Stranger Things has effectively stopped. Seasons 3, 4, and I can honestly see this for season 5, came and went without any Blu-ray, DVD, or 4K release. Despite growing fan base and a growing fan demand, this absence opened the floodgates for bootlegs, which are now widely sold on platforms like eBay, Amazon, even Walmart, and even found in physical stores like any local thrift shop nearby. What I imagine they do, and this is from experience with me knowing a guy, usually they screen record it from their laptop, computer, wherever they are watching it, whether on Netflix or some illegal website, and they record it, they burn it to a DVD, they make some cool poster probably online, quickly on like Canva or something, and just mass produce that shit. I have to warn you guys to not fall for it, as most of the time these let's just say videos and DVDs aren't usually in great condition, as some of them just basically don't even work, and those that do work are in such low quality, like max 720 is like your best bet, and at that point you should just watch it in your TV, unless you're like some big strong Stranger Things fan where you just need the physical media, even though you probably have it downloaded in your computer or phone. There's honestly no point in getting it. Now, as for the reasons why there's no release for season 3, 4, it essentially has to do due to the poor initial performance on season 2, which is probably why it was released on a such smaller scale in like season 1, and it's likely why Netflix scaled back on producing it, not just for Stranger Things but for other shows as well, and have abandoned physical releases as they're focusing more on their digital platforms and streaming services right now. What I imagine is probably for a limited time they're gonna do a big collection for seasons 1 through 5. I think that's the best bet. If you want to buy a physical media, you can go online and get your season 1 if you're a big fan of it. Season 2 might cost you a pretty penny, but apparently, this is just a rumor, there have been people that have seen or have gotten a season 3 release officially by Netflix. Now, it's basically been said that it doesn't exist, but there are some people claiming it does exist, which is why I put it on unknown lost media. And as for the season 2 releases, I guess you can partially include it to lost media, but honestly, that's just me stretching. Well, since this is basically the end of the lost media segment, let's talk about some unused ideas. Originally, the Upside Down was meant to have an inverted time scale in comparison to Earth's. Whenever it would be daytime in Hawkins, it would be nighttime in the Upside Down, and vice versa. It was later changed to being always night, so it would give the place a more of a constantly hostile feel and overall nightmarish design. Originally, 11 was conceived as a boy, and Mike's love interest was meant to be a different character altogether. The new kid at school would have been Chief Hopper's daughter. The early idea contrasts sharply with the emotional depth and the ultimately developing relationship between Hopper and 11. Steve was originally going to have a swim meet scene throughout the season, complete with a Speedo scene in which Joe Keery got into shape and learned how to swim properly, only to find out those scenes were cut because production couldn't get a pool big enough. The idea was finally revisited in season 4, where Steve mentioned being on the swimming team. After meeting her catatonic mother in season 2, 11 was initially going to mercy kill her, but the show ultimately spared her, seeing that it was going to be too dark. Jonathan was supposed to be present during a scene in chapter 8 of season 2 where the group discussed what the mind flare is, but he ended up being removed from it because Charlie Heaton couldn't stop laughing. In season 2, it was originally going to end with Mike only discovering 11 was back at the snowball, but then it was decided that it would be way too much of an emotional scene to pile on to one exact moment, so they decided to space it out along the episode. Eddie's relationship with his guitar and with Chrissy was not originally planned, as the Duffer Brothers only realized while writing the season 4 finale that the guitar would play a major role in the story. Afterward, they went back and revised earlier scripts to establish Eddie as a guitarist, which led to the tender moments between him and Chrissy into the woods, and even the detail of him kissing the guitar. One of the Duffers explained that the original Chrissy Eddie scene was very basic and purely transactional, but rewrites transformed it into one of their favorite scenes in the season. They decided to spend more time with Joseph Quinn in order to help them better understand his voice and performance, and ultimately leveling him up as a more important character with his important scenes with Dustin and of course his iconic guitar solo. And that is all. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I didn't take too much of your guys' time. I know this is the holidays and it was a quick video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, thank you so much for the last video. That one was a nice holiday surprise, and I hope you guys love, season 5 and everything it holds. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.